I wasn't supposed to be in Bangkok. My original plan was 2 weeks in Australia. Sydney, the East Coast, maybe a few days up in Queensland. I'd booked it months in advance. Taken the time off work. Packed light for once in my life. Everything was sorted. A connection in Dubai got cancelled. The airline put me up in a Bangkok hotel for the night, and suddenly I had 16 free hours in a city I'd never planned to visit and didn't know anything about. That's how it starts, right? The best and worst things in your life always begin with something going slightly wrong. My name is Jake. I'm 28. I'm from Manchester. At the time I'm telling you about, I had been working in financial compliance for 4 years, a job that paid well and meant absolutely nothing to me. I used to sit outside on my lunch break with a flights page open in another tab, not booking anything, just looking, somewhere warm, somewhere far enough away that I couldn't check my emails. The trip to Australia was booked on one of those days. That was my reset. 2 weeks away, clear my head, come back and figure out what I actually wanted to do with my life. I didn't figure that out in Australia, because I never made it to Australia. I checked into the Bangkok hotel, showered, and did what any 28-year-old alone in Bangkok for one night would do. I went out. The hotel was on Sukhumvit Road. If you don't know Bangkok, it's basically the city's main artery of everything. Sky trains running overhead, neon signs in every direction, tuk-tuks weaving through traffic, and the smell of street food coming from literally every corner. I grabbed pad thai from a cart that looked like it had been there since before I was born. Paid about 80 pence for it, and just started walking with no direction in mind. Bangkok at night feels like nothing else. There's an energy to it that's almost electric, like standing at the edge of a party that's been going for days and you've just arrived. I ended up on a rooftop bar somewhere off Silom Road. I still don't know how I found it. The view was stunning. The city spread in every direction, a grid of lights all the way to the horizon. I was on my second drink when she sat down in the empty seat next to me. Her name was Maya. She was Thai, maybe 25, and she spoke perfect English, the kind of English that tells you immediately she went to an international school. Not British or American, just clean and confident and completely natural. She was the one who spoke first. She asked if I was lost. I said no, just unexpected. She said that was her favorite kind of night. We talked for what felt like an hour, but was probably 3. She'd grown up in Bangkok, spent time in Singapore and London, then came back. She was vague about what she did for work, not evasive, just private. She was funny, not performing funny, genuinely funny. Quick, she'd say things that surprised me. She'd go quiet sometimes mid-conversation and look out at the city. And it didn't feel awkward. It felt like she was actually thinking about something. By midnight, I was convinced she was the most interesting person I'd met in years. When the bar started thinning out, she asked if I'd ever seen the real Thailand. Not the tourist version, not the temples and the tuk-tuks and the gap year photos. The actual country, the parts that don't have a TripAdvisor entry. I said no. She said she could show me. She was heading back to her family's village in the morning, a few hours south, near the coast, a beach that wasn't on any map. She made it sound like nothing, like she was offering to show me a shortcut. I told myself I was just being adventurous, that this was the whole point of traveling alone, saying yes when everything in your comfortable life would tell you to say no. I told the hotel I'd be checking out early. I didn't message anyone back home. I didn't update my location. I didn't tell a single person on earth where I was going. Her driver picked us up at 6 in the morning. A black car with tinted windows. I remember thinking that was slightly odd for what was supposed to be a casual family trip, the kind of car you hire for airport transfers and business meetings. I told myself I was being paranoid. We drove south. I watched Bangkok shrink in the rear window. Skyscrapers, then overpasses, then low-rise sprawl. The motorway gave way to smaller roads, then roads with no markings at all, lined by trees so dense they blocked out the morning light. Around the second hour, I checked Google Maps. The GPS showed a blue dot moving along a road the map didn't have a name for. I zoomed in. The nearest town with the label was more than 40 kilometers behind us. I told myself that was normal. Rural Thailand. Maps aren't always up to date. At some point in the third hour, I asked Maya where we were. She glanced at her phone, then looked up at me with the same easy smile from the rooftop. But something about it was different now, something I couldn't quite name. She said, "Almost there." I nodded and looked back out the window. That's when I noticed something I should have seen 2 hours earlier. The driver hadn't looked in the rearview mirror once, not once in 3 hours, never adjusted it, never glanced back. Just hands on the wheel, eyes straight ahead, as if he already knew exactly what was behind him and had no reason to check. I turned forward and studied the back of his head, and then Maya put her hand gently on my arm and said very quietly, "Don't look at your phone again." Not a question, not a suggestion, an instruction. Episode 2, I'm already in the car. And now I know I'm not going home the same way I left.